Hello and welcome to the very first podcast episode of second podcast episode of Table of Geequals. The first one occurred 2 Christmases ago, and I said there would be one the next month. So it's been a long fucking month.
Yeah, we're
right on schedule.
Time is relative.
We're right
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
I have been traveling close to the speed of light for a while now, so there might be some distortion in the time-space.
That's time traveling, but cheating.
Yes, I know.
Wait, now is this original one? Is it online somewhere?
Yeah, actually, it's on our original feed, and that's where this is going. Because
everything is online somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Even the things I don't want to be online.
Most of the things you don't want to be online are online.
I hate camera phones.
So I am your co-host, PigMonkey, and with me is my other co-host.
I'm Alec. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a while.
A long month.
Yeah, really, really long month.
Yeah.
Is that just going to be like the go-to joke about how
I think
horrible we are as human beings?
Because we're just we
make promises that we don't keep.
Well,
but,
that's
we're
honest
we're
about
men.
it.
We're men.
Yeah,
so,
that's our job.
Only on the outside.
And also,
okay. Things are just awkward now.
Joining us in the open seats today are...
I'm Larry, the man of the hat from GVN. I'm thinking every time I do one of these podcasts, I'm going to wear a different hat. You know, something the audience can really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the audio of a guy wearing a hat is tremendous.
I know.
It's in this month, this really long month.
And our recording technician as well.
An all-around special guy.
And host of Background Noise.
That's true. I'm Derek. Some of you, I'm sure, will recognize my voice, and I'll be jumping in when if there's not, if there's a hole, I like to fill any holes I can. If I see a hole, I'll just slide right in there. But
so, when they recognize your voice, is it from Background Noise, or is it just that voice I hear whispering behind me?
No, definitely background noise.
Oh, okay.
Because
so that guy telling me to bite a pillow, I'm going in dry, is someone completely different?
No, that wouldn't be me.
That was Lollipop Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, Lollipop Mike.
Yeah, I don't give the warnings like that. I'm a little more sneaky. The rag covers your face. You hit the ground. Anyway, where were we?
I've always preferred the, hey, does this smell like chloroform to you?
Right.
So, if you haven't guessed by now, if you're familiar with GVN, you should definitely be prepared for several dark turns per minute, I'd imagine, especially with some of our guests.
So, anyway, yeah, I have a feeling you're going to pop in. You'll be sitting, even if you don't have a mic, you'll be sitting in that back chair, and something's going to set you off.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's kind of fun. You can call me over when you need me for whatever I have expertise in, which is...
Well, no, we expect you to interject your opinion. That's what Geeks versus Nerds is about. That's kind of what this is about, only it's a lot more intimate.
This really shows the difference between, podcasts that we do in, say, I don't know, a living room and like a radio show. You never hear the producer say shit.
Okay, so what we do is just for topics, we have our online magazine editor here as well. That's Larry.
Yeah, I probably should say something and not wave.
Yeah,
he's been waving this whole time. I think his arm is tired. He's
Larry.
Are you nuts? This arm is muscly.
He's got some kind of
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Yeah.
Okay.
Parkinson's or epilepsy. Epilepsy.
Okay.
He's got the epilepsy.
Arm Tourette's.
Oh my God, Parkinson's. Yeah. Holy fuck, man! Why do we constantly make fun of Parkinson's?
That's the first time I've done it.
I'll be honest, I fear Parkinson's. It runs in my family. I make fun of it to quell my ever-growing fear.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You do not want to know how I approach marriage. It's similar.
I imagine.
Lovely. This week, HBO announced the American Gods show. They're actually going ahead with making it. And I was wondering, you look like you have something to say there.
No, it's...
No.
I really, really, really like Neil Gaiman. I really like Neil Gaiman.
I sense a but.
Well, I just feel that some of his works are just kind of like, oh my god, Neil Gaiman, I love you so much. Everything you do is like turning shit into gold, and then I get to rub myself with this gold shit.
Like the Whedon effect.
Yeah, like the Whedon effect. Like, I'm sorry, the Teal'c versus Jane fight at GVN, Teal'c had it. Just nobody who knows who the fuck Teal'c is.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
Yeah.
My big argument for that one was 10 seasons versus 12 episodes, or 14 episodes.
But the thing is, if the team is really working really like well together, they can take even a really obscure thing and make them win. You know, like I've seen ones that like the crowd was like, oh no, we're definitely choosing this one, but then you go through and you know, they're like, nah, I'm switching up. I'm going with Catwoman. How could I resist Catwoman?
Well, honestly, how could you resist Catwoman?
I can't.
No. Yeah. No, but like for example, Sandman. I liken it to The English Patient. I recognize that it's good. And I understand why Sandman is good, just like The English Patient, but it's just not for me. And I'll readily recommend it to lots of people. But it's like that with a lot of with Neil Gaiman's things.
You're a hit and miss with his
Now
style.
The Graveyard Book, if they wanted to make like a mini series or something out of the Graveyard Book, which is a great young adult fiction book, it is just amazing. I would watch the shit out of that show. But I don't know.
This, I think, will actually spawn me to actually read American Gods now.
What?
Okay, I have the dumbest reason why I haven't read it. I'm a bookophile. I love books. I love books to be meticulous. I love to keep them in good condition. When I'm done a book, even ones I've read a couple times, the spine's barely cracked, if at all, because I take meticulous care of my books. So my wife had American Gods, and it was on my list. I was next to read it, but she lent it to her brother. Book comes back and this thing is destroyed. He bent the first cover all the way down to the back. There's pages are crumpled. I've got dog ears on a bunch of them. I'm just looking and going, I do not want to touch this fucking book with a 10-foot pole. It's probably the greatest book ever.
You have book OCD, man. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm looking and going, that book looks horrible. That's the sea donkey of books right there, and I don't want to fucking touch it.
Wouldn't it just be liberating to finally get your hands on a book that you could just destroy? You could read it on the toilet. Okay? You could read American Gods on the toilet. Have you ever read a book on the toilet?
No, I don't spend enough time on the toilet. It's pump,
oh man,
done.
What are you eating? You got to slow your digestive system down.
Listen. As a married man, your time on the toilet is meant to be that brief refuge from everything.
Quiet.
Chaos.
It's your quiet moment.
It's like meditation.
It really is. Now, if you could just bring yourself to picking up that book, it's a book that you could curl up with. It's a book that you could just take anywhere, throw it in your bag, and just take it on the bus. And oh my god, it touched a bus seat. Ugh,
you should just buy 2 copies of every book and have one on your shelf and one that you just beat the shit out of and throw in the garbage when you're done.
And
it'll be a little expensive.
You're the reason why authors love selling actual books. People are like, buy 2 copies. That's great.
I bend the crap out of mine. I like a book that's really has some character. I like to be able to bend it, and because I'm laying in bed, and sometimes I got it over my head, so I got to bend it all out. I like to beat my books up. Give some character.
I used to be like that when I was reading, second and third hand books. But when I got older and started buying my own books, I suddenly took a lot more care of my books.
I can see that, but I buy mostly used books. Okay, here's a question. And it's not on our list, but fuck it. It's just occurred to me. Do you have one of those book series that there are 9 billion of them? Like Deathlands, or The Executioner, or Mac
Here's
Bolan,
Anthony Xanth.
or Xanth. For me, it was The Destroyer, Remo Williams. I have about 80 of the Remo Williams books, and after about 40 of them, they're just being written by computer. It's like, just fill in the blank. The bad guy is blank. Chun says this and makes Remo an idiot. And that's...
They use CAPTCHAs. You fill in CAPTCHAs. It's like wheelchair, Diamond, and it's like, yeah, Wheelchair Diamond is the main bad guy. I think it's a great idea.
This latest book brought to you by Mad Libs.
Right.
I think my problem with those book series was always it would take too long for the next one to come out. So I would get into something like within like 3 or 4 books in a series, and then after that, it's just like, yeah, I've kind of lost interest. Like I was actually reading about one of my old book series the other day. It's YA fiction again. Diadem. Or
I'm not familiar with that.
Nobody was apparently. But like the 11th and 12th books, the final 2 books just came out apparently. I'm half tempted to get them out from the library, but I don't think I care enough.
Hey, Larry, how do you feel about taking books out of the library?
I haven't stepped in a library in
Okay,
years.
I had a feeling. If that's how meticulous you were with your books, I had a feeling a library...
I used to live and die in libraries. That used to be... I was that guy, that's where he spent his recesses, in the libraries. But
Wait a second. If you lived and died in a library, that means you're undead now.
regenerated.
A ghost.
I see.
But wouldn't that kind of like solve your problem? You could buy your book, sit it on your shelf, never touch it. Okay? Those pages would still be virgin to human hands. Except for me, I'm going to find out what all your favorite books are, and I'm just going to go to all the bookstores and just like lick my fingers and touch all the pages, just completely like fuck up your entire
It's
system.
bad enough I have to let my wife touch my books, let alone you.
They might remove you from the bookstore pretty quickly. If you're
No.
going around licking them.
I've seen people do much worse in
That's
bookstores for
possible.
much longer.
So
American Gods.
no, American Gods.
We're done?
We've suffered. We've made people suffer American
Sorry,
Gods.
Gaiman.
This is like I'm all for an American Gods. By the way, I really think with Neil Gaiman writing it, it should be very interesting.
Is he doing the show?
He's writing the script, so
Okay.
it's not like it's. Well, like I said in the review of Zombieland, it's like adding a blonde with a tennis racket is not going to make
I'm so
American
mad at
Gods.
Zombieland. I'm mad at Amazon
Are you?
for making this terrible...
Zombie? Have you seen it?
No.
Dude, it's good.
It looks horrible.
It's really good.
But will you admit that the preview makes it look horrible?
I never saw the preview.
It doesn't have that same $20 million quality that the
It
movie
looks
did.
like they've removed all the funny and just put in penis jokes.
I'll say this about Zombieland. It's on our list, so let's do Zombieland right now.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Zombieland, I watched it. Now, I had pneumonia or I was getting over pneumonia. It's like Friday morning. It's 5 a.m. The cat has woken me up because it wants to be fed. And I just can't lay back down and go to sleep. So I'm like shuffling through this. I'm like, Zombieland, the series? Oh, I'll give that a shot. So I'm really worried at this point because TV can fuck up things. Like, they could fuck up a county fair. You could fuck up a bake sale. TV is remarkably good. The way they did it, the way they introduced it, they said they basically gave you this is really Zombieland. The first scene has none of the main characters in it. It's just this aging guy complaining about how the Keurig broke and he went to Starbucks and they got his order wrong. And he got milk in it, and he's got lactose intolerance. And the whole time, he's complaining about these. Zombies are running by this big bay window that's behind him that he can't see, and attacking people. And people are on fire and crashing cars all over the place. And it ends with a zombie coming crashing through the window, and there's a zombie attack, and the main character narrates it the same way. Who do you think is going to survive this one? Right? It has that light Zombieland quality. The thing that you loved about Woody Harrelson being a crazy, terrifying, psychotic individual who had some kind of break when his child died. But you got to see this how he turned it into something positive in a world where beating the crap out of human beings, dead human beings, is acceptable.
In fact, it's encouraged.
It's encouraged. I would say that they lost that sense of Woody Harrelson's character in the series, but it's still that kind of playful sense. And now they're driving from LA to New York on the East Coast because the last OnStar operator in the United States has let them know that there's a safe community in New York, on an island in New York. So they're traveling, and the show's going to be them traveling across the country to New York to find out that when they get there, it's going to be overrun by zombies. It seems almost obvious. But I really, the way they pulled it off with the guy who filled in for Woody Harrelson's role for Tallahassee, he did a good job.
I don't know. Just basing everything off of the trailer, like I have absolutely no interest in seeing this show. Now, maybe it's the same problem that Dredd had. Nobody saw Dredd.
I did.
Well,
and it
yeah,
was
okay.
fucking brilliant.
It's an
We're
amazing
nobodies.
film.
Yeah.
It's an amazing film. And it's the way Dredd should be done on film, and it's as good as we're ever going to get for a Dredd film.
Yeah.
And if it had been supported, you fucking assholes, that's everybody who didn't go to see it, we would have had a trilogy culminating in The Dark Judges, which would have been amazing. But it didn't get supported because one of the reasons is it had a shitty fucking trailer. Do you remember the trailer for Dredd?
No.
It made it look nothing like the movie it was, which was just guns blazing, amazing.
It was
bloodbath.
Well, you know what it was. It was a more well-armed version of Die Hard, the first Die Hard. Only he was going up the building instead of down.
It's anyway. My point is, if the show's as decent as you say it is, they need to fire whoever's making their fucking trailers, because as somebody who's loved zombie stuff for most of their life, I was immediately turned off.
Well, I rated it not a complete waste of my time. So
I'll watch one episode.
Yeah, I would say watch the first episode. If it doesn't make you laugh, then it's not worth it. It's definitely not for you. But I think you would get a laugh out of it.
Everyone gets one.
Yep.
Now, Zombieland actually started out as a television show. That's what they were pitching it long before the movie.
Yeah.
The creator came up and wanted to pitch it as like a 10-episode TV show. And went back, was in production, talking to people, blah, blah, blah. Then someone said, you're really not going to get a show out of this. Why not just do it a movie? You can up your budget. You could, remove the ratings. And then it went to the movie. And now we're back to a show. I find that insanely interesting. I wonder
if the movie sold the show. Just like how sometimes you'll read a book and then it'll become like a short, and then it'll eventually get the interest of people. Because for Dredd, that I don't even remember that trailer, and I watch every trailer. So even the trailer's quality aside, I don't remember it actually being out there for me to see. I don't remember it until Dredd was in theaters, which is also not very helpful to how well it does if people don't know it exists. Mind you, I'm out of the loop a little bit, but as far as movies go, I watch the shit out of trailers and I missed it completely, so that doesn't help its cause.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the trailer for Dredd. I think I just went, fucking cool, Dredd movie. I'll see it. I saw the horrible piece of shit with Sly. I'll go and see,
I thought that's the one you guys were talking about.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because somehow Sly and Rob Schneider make a good action film.
Hell yeah.
Rob Schneider is a stapler. Derp. Dude, fuck you. You'll see it anyway.
Disney has offered us a brand new a brand new promise to keep all the geeks spooging in their pants.
Haha, here's a towel. Haha.
I'm gonna need two.
They have promised, starting in 2015, a Star Wars movie every year. Now, what is really, really interesting about this is I could not find a time where this ends. So they're just going to make a Star Wars movie every year.
It's until the rapture when when Walt himself emerges from cryostasis. And
What the hell have you bought?
And brings about the end
superhero
of time.
space ninjas? What the hell?
Walt Disney hungry.
George Lucas still has a thumb in this pie. I can tell. If something's coming out every year, he's like, fuck it, just re-release it.
Well, I have read that Abrams is very much in constant talks with Lucas. I mean, he wants to make a good story, but he does not want to pull too far away from Lucas's vision.
Let's be honest here. Lucas does have good story ideas.
Yes.
Okay, the man. He has great story ideas, but he needs somebody like Steven Spielberg to stop him from fucking shit up until Indiana Jones 4 happened. But anyway.
Did you ever hear Spielberg's quote on Indiana Jones 4? When people asked, why did you do, and you're Spielberg, you do everything awesome, why Indy 4? And he says, well, there's a couple things. It wasn't entirely a movie I would have made myself. But this was a joint project between two friends. And he said, when your best friend is so passionate about something, you do it the way he wants to. You do it his way, and then he said you throw in your way when you're directing, you throw in your spin, your scenes. But when your buddy is so passionate about it, you kind of don't say no to him.
Well, you also typically you don't let your best friend do anything too damaging, or you stop them just short of doing it.
You and I have different friends.
Friends don't let friends drink and film.
Friends don't let friends film Indiana Jones being shot through in a fridge through a nuclear explosion.
He's proud that that's become like an internet thing.
No, I know it is actually amazing, and I shit on it, but at the same time, we watched Indiana Jones do all manner of ridiculous things.
This is people go, oh man, you can't get into a fridge and survive a nuclear explosion, man. That's not possible. Yeah, you know what else is not possible? Falling down a 300-foot cliff with only a life raft to slow you down. You know what happens?
Mythbusters says that's plausible.
Actually, that was a real scene. He actually did that. It was a chunk of documentary. He was just like, yo, take this and jump off a cliff, and he did it.
I'm Harrison Ford!
What? You don't believe me?
No.
He also rode the side of a tank. No, I'm not saying he did that as far as, it was in the movie. He didn't really do it.
Oh.
As far as I know, maybe he did.
Although there's the claims that he really ran away from the big boulder. It was
right.
styrofoam and still probably would have broken an arm or something if it ran over him.
Right.
And that
It's
scene
mainly plaster of Paris. It was only 150 pounds traveling at 35 miles an hour. The worst it could have done is crush your spine.
But apparently, when Harrison Ford actually trips running away, everyone in the cast had a collective shit our pants right there. Our star's fucked.
He's gonna die.
No, getting back to the whole Disney being amazing marketers, it could be a wonderful thing having that many Star Wars films. I've never been hugely into the expanded Star Wars universe. I love the original Star Wars stuff for what it is, this giant space fantasy opera. It's amazing stuff. But I understand and respect the expanded universe for what it is, and I would be kind of pissed off if I was a huge Star Wars fan that Disney came out and said, oh yeah, all that expanded universe stuff, it's not canon anymore.
Well, that's still up to debate whether or not that is. I know a lot of them are like, no, we kind of have to work it in. We are not going to eject half of our audience who love the EU.
They'll adapt it, kind of like how Abrams did with Star Trek. All of the old stuff is technically not canon for the new canon.
Mm-hmm.
For old canon, okay, it's still canon, and you still have the expanded universe stuff with the novels and all that BS. But and I say that with love, having read like all the Deep Space Nine novels, because fuck yeah, Deep Space Nine. But
Yeah, man, it's my favorite.
I prefer the original Babylon 5, but
fuck off.
Yeah,
Seriously, there's the door. Fuck off. No, but it's anyway. It's a shame that they're kind of closing the door. But of course, they'll take some things and inject them into this steamy hot mess that will be these new films. But I think they're releasing one every year. Nerds, and I say this with love as one of them, we are consumer whores. And I see it with comic books all the time. I do it with comic books all the time. You've got a shitty comic title.
I can't picture that paper cut.
You've got a shitty comic title that you feel should be good, but you keep buying it every month because it should be good. Well, how are you going to get them to change if you keep buying it?
Actually, I'm guilty of charge of that one.
Yeah, and it's the same with shitty book series. It is. You know, how are you going to get them to change what they're doing if you keep buying into it? So give the first film a chance. Yeah, the first film that Disney releases in 2015, go and see it, and hey, maybe it'll be amazing. If it's not, if the reviews come back saying it's terrible, don't go. Don't give them your money.
Now, I have to admit, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, but Star Wars has always played a very important part of my film-going history. When Episode 1 came out, Phantom Menace, I was 14, 15. I just reached the age where, you know, you can go to a movie theater on your own. You can watch movies more or less on your own, right? And it got to the point where Star Wars always represented a guaranteed film coming out. I had always had something to look forward to. It seemed every other film series was like, oh yeah, we'd love to make a trilogy out of Prometheus. Okay, problems after the first one, we're not going to do the other two. But Star Wars always seemed like, you know, no matter how bad Episode 1, no matter how bad Episode 2, we always still had our Episode 3. So when Episode 3 finally came and gone...
I like how your tonality... I like 3. How your tonality dipped according to like how bad Episode 2. No matter how bad Episode 1 was, no matter how bad Episode 2 was.
If I can be serious for a second.
I'll be it. I love Episode 1. I know how bad it is, but I love it.
It's not bad. It's just Jar Jar Binks was like the fucking racist, stupid, toy-driven character that was everything that Star Wars became, but
I want to comment on that, but I just want to finish my point first.
Okay, continue.
So when Episode 3 came and went with a big no, as you did, for me that ended pretty much my film. You know, the what I had to look forward to in theaters. I mean, I always got
really depressing.
For a long time, that's what it was. I mean, it was always, well, whatever comes out, comes out. You know, I had films I was excited on. Oh yeah, Iron Man, that turned out to be awesome, you know. But these would only, I didn't have the long range, you know, the long term, oh, I can't wait to see how Episode 3 turns out. You know, when I'm 14 going, man, if this is how they start it, how are they going to end it?
Lord of the Rings did that pretty well.
But Lord of the Rings was come and gone in 3 years, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Lord of the Rings came and went in 3 years.
Yeah, but the movies played continuously over those 3 years.
But with Star Wars, I had 9 years of anticipation. More, counting the lead up to 1, of the build up, you know, for the entire trilogy. Now
you want to know what the best part of what Phantom Menace? Fanboys. That's the best part of Phantom Menace.
Fanboys was pretty good. But now I feel like once again I have something guaranteed to look forward to. Not, as long as this does well, we'll see Pirates 5, or, you know, we just saw Die Hard.
Okay, but I don't know. I see your point, and I'm
stop giving your money to bad ideas.
Yeah, like you can't...
Iron Man right now. I'm just about not the movies, the comic book. Like Greg Land, Jesus fucking Christ. Tony Stark looks like some sort of Mongolian devil caricature. He doesn't look like a Playboy millionaire white guy. He looks Asian, and that would be fine if he was Asian.
That's the main
Wait
fault.
a
I don't know,
minute.
dude. Yeah,
The
I don't know,
Mandarin
dude.
replaced Tony.
Yeah, there we go. That story development done.
Superior Iron Man.
Or like Dylan doing the art in Thunderbolts. Like everybody has Punisher face.
Yeah, I actually like Thunderbolts the comic. I'm not loving the art.
Now he's been replaced, but I think he's coming back for an issue. He did an issue of Avenging Spider-Man, and both Aunt May and Peter Parker had Punisher face. And they started looking at each other in a very uncomfortable manner.
It's like the baby
And I
from
didn't
Samurai
sleep
Jack.
for
Once
a
you
week.
witness
it was
things.
ridiculous.
Wait, so I don't know what you're talking about. What's Punisher face?
Well, okay.
Here, let us show you.
Yes,
Can
What do
we
you think of that example?
that was pretty exciting.
I'll show you a picture later, but like Dylan draws the Punisher like as this very typical, I don't know, angry face.
Okay.
And
It's the
Very
he has a hard
square
time.
jaw, very
He has a hard
changing
time
it.
doing any other.
You say
face.
Aunt May has a Punisher face?
and he draw. I think I have a picture on
Oh,
my
fucking
phone,
right.
which is.
Aunt May used to be an
can we
FBI
add it to the
agent when.
podcast
Yeah,
somehow?
we can put it up on.
Because
we'll add it up online.
Like,
Larry,
so now through the
you can
magic
put this
of,
up on the blog.
of
And if you think
internet,
about Aunt May's
you should
story,
be seeing that.
she's not that far off from a Punisher origin story. You know, I was a person. I enjoyed my life. My
Holy
life
shit!
was good.
Aunt May is the Punisher.
Then Uncle Ben died by a brutal gang shooting. Aunt May wanted revenge. Rifle later, grenades. She's out kicking ass.
They are leering very
Oh
uncomfortable.
my God.
Wow, look at that. It's like a mirror. Interesting.
Just-
That is Punisher face.
Peter Parker. Like, ugh, no, Dylan, no.
But no, going back to Iron Man, what's really bugged me about the comics is he's become the new Wolverine right now.
He's in everything.
Yeah, I mean, logistically, it doesn't even make sense because in his own comic, he's in space exploring, which links up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which he's joined them.
Don't put too much into continuity.
But then we have Black Iron Man. I'm not saying this is Rhodes. I mean, the armor actually looks black, and he's partying around with the Avengers.
Yeah, just look at it as like just taking place at different points in time. It's comic books, okay?
Tony Stark
Listen,
is
I
the
have this whole
Avengers
thing.
Wolverine. He's on every
Wolverine
single
is
team.
an Avenger,
You don't explain comic books to people, okay? I was telling PigMonkey
and you're
about
the
this.
reason why comics are dying. Don't explain
No.
to anyone; they just won't get it.
No, but it's true. No, the reason comic books are dying is because you cannot explain comic books to people who don't read comic books without sounding as though you're explaining some
You sound fucking
ridiculous
crazy.
heroin-induced nightmare. So, okay, Superior Spider-Man. This is me trying to pitch Superior Spider-Man to a friend of mine. All right, so
Or to me, for instance, because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
All right.
So this is happening right now.
Okay, so Amazing Spider-Man as a series ended. Like, you've got to be able to appreciate that.
After 700 issues,
1962
Right.
was Amazing Fantasy 15. Then in 1963, Amazing Spider-Man #1. And it's been going on. I mean, they've restarted it a couple of times, or once actually, but and then they reverted back to the old numbering, etc., etc. Issue 700 was the last Amazing Spider-Man issue. And in the lead up to that, in 697, no, 698, sorry. In 698, the cover is Doc Ock. Okay, Dr. Octopus is dying, and it has his little voice bubble, and he's going, Peter Parker, right? I'm sure that was his voice. But Doc Ock is dying, and he calls Peter Parker in, and Spider-Man gets there, and he kind of gets all alone with Doc Ock, and he says, "So I guess you're wondering how it is I did this," and it comes clear that Doc Ock switched brains with Peter Parker.
Oh, of course.
But he didn't actually switch brains, mind you. All he did was he switched brain waves. So now you have the brain waves of Doc Ock inside the body of Peter Parker. And the
meanwhile,
brain waves
Doc Ock stuck to all of Peter's emotions, all of his memories, and all of that. I have to be a good guy. You know, I can't just be a villain in Spider-Man's
Well,
body.
that's at the end of issue 700. Like, Spider-Man is dying, and Doc Ock all of a sudden becomes aware of all of Peter Parker's memories and kind of like puts himself in Peter Parker's shoes. So he has that lesson of with great power comes great responsibility. So it was at the point where I start saying, where I start talking about switching brains. Well,
Right.
actually switching brainwaves. That I saw this like tiny glazed look in my friend's eyes, and I
They
realized
died inside.
Yeah, I realized. You know what? I could never really like. You can't sell comic books to people because they're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You get the same
Now that
look.
being said, this is a kind of a fun storyline.
You get the same look when, someone's trying to explain what happened on, like, As the World Turns. No. Turns out she's had amnesia for 6 months, her twin sister kicked in, and the evil brother no one knew she had until they casted him last week
Or
has
wrestling,
just shown up.
or professional wrestling. I mean, it's episodic melodrama. That's what we're peddling. Episodic melodrama with different skins on it. Let's put the superhero skin on this.
My favorite example is when Captain America died. It later came out when they had to bring him back from death for the Captain America movie coming out, because you can't have a dead character when a movie about them is coming out. So how do they... And this is after Joe Quesada has gone on and on about how, no, Steve Rogers is dead, okay? As long as I'm around, he will not be brought out of death. 2 years later. Turns out the Red Skull didn't actually have him shot with regular bullets. He shot him with time bullets. Okay. I like to imagine in my head the pitch meeting. All right, guys. All right. We got to bring Steve Rogers back because the movie's coming out in like 6 months. How are we going to do this?
Hold on. I'm getting.
Have we used spider cocoons recently? No, we did that with Spider-Man, right?
Time bullets.
Son of a bitch! It's just so crazy it might work.
They make 1 month last like 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been that, or oh god, okay. Look, that's the 7th time he pitched time bullets. It's oh fuck, it's 4 a.m. Shit, time bullets. Let's just go.
Time bullets.
My wife is gonna be so mad at me.
It takes this really interesting storyline and like all this shit with Bucky becoming Captain America, and then it's just like, it was time bullets all along. and this is Red Skull, of course. Yes, I'm going to reach through time and take his body and make him my slave. And yes, I know I'm talking like fucking Skeletor. But
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
they're one and the
Damn
same.
it, why do
okay?
Skeletor and Red Skeletor. Yeah.
Why is it all skull-based villains sound alike? Is it the lack of
I'll
lips?
get you, He-Man.
Have you ever tried talking without lips? Now he's like some old-timey...
Yeah,
crooks.
see?
Yeah, you'll never take me alive, see? I'm going to use my time bullets on you.
I like time bullets, guys. You know what, though? The way you were talking about selling comics and not being able to, the way I operate is feeding off of how much that person gives a shit about what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I'll look in someone's eyes and they'll be telling me about a movie that I don't give a fuck about, but they'll love it so much that I'll be like, I get it. I might check it out just because you love the shit out of that movie.
Yeah, but
that
you're going to
failed.
run across somebody who loved Crossed.
Of course.
And you're going to...
No. I can beat that. I can be... Friend was over. She was so excited about a movie. We watched it. We watched the Garbage Pail Kid movie. My god.
You need new friends.
I
that's
really
a problem.
do.
Dude, really worse than Crossed?
Have you read
Torture
Crossed?
porn? I mean, it is...
Listen, I was on a road trip to Ontario, and I love Garth Ennis. I love him.
I love him, but
The Boys was a great series.
He's gone off the deep end.
I love
I
boys.
picked up Crossed, having never heard about it, because who the fuck tells anybody about Crossed? If you tell people about Crossed, they no longer talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how this book survives in print. Okay, nobody tells anybody about it, but they say, "Oh, Garth Ennis. Okay, I'll read that. I liked The Boys. I liked Preacher."
You make it like 3 pages in.
Oh
you
my
go,
God.
what the fuck?
It really is torture porn. Like, Garth Ennis had said about The Boys, well, with The Boys, I'm trying to out-Preacher. And if you've read Preacher is a pretty intense book sometimes. Crossed is as if he took all the pain and suffering that he had ever heard about or experienced in his life, and then just somehow, while thinking about all of that, jacked off onto the page. And if you read Crossed, that's probably not far from the truth.
No.
So is that why bookstores have no Garth Ennis return policies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like George taking the book into the bathroom. They flagged the book.
Okay, anybody
This book's
brings
been flagged.
Crossed into the bathroom, it's something I'm really worried about.
Crossed I made it to, like, I went through it because I'm like, okay, I like Garth Ennis. He's got some interesting ideas.
Don't give anything away. I want
to describe the picture.
I want people to read this book because of this conversation and just be like, oh, it can't be that. Oh God, what have I done?
Well, it's the okay. I want to do the guy who
the salt guy.
The salt guy.
Oh my God, no! That is where I had to put down the book. I have never had to put down a comic book in my life because I felt
me
sick.
too. I'm like, I seriously.
Don't say what happens though. I want somebody to pick up this book because of the salt guy. And then write into us and say, "You fuckers, why did you make me read this book?"
You've
Guess what, guys?
stolen part of my soul.
Before the next show, I'm going to check this out, and then I'll report back. Because I have no idea what I'm getting into. I'm just like, fuck yeah, I'll check it out.
And now a report from the man in the field. What did you do to me?
Can you put on like a reaction video while you're reading this?
I can do that.
Turns out he's a slow reader, so it's like 20 minutes of... Oh, dear God. Oh, no.
Why, guys? I thought we were friends.
Machinima announced its second season of the Mortal Kombat Legacy series, and now they're actually telling a long story. So, did you see the Mortal Kombat?
No, I have very little interest in Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat is one of my... It's got to be in my top 5 favorite fantasy series, realms,
So I'm taking it you've seen it.
Oh, so at least once a week. It's
Mortal Kombat for me is like
Mortal Kombat.
Like that.
I like those ones, too.
Yeah.
I thought they were good movies.
Oh, man. In the second one, when Johnny Cage dies.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Me and my friends in the theater were like, no. It was like,
meanwhile, Lucas is in the background going, "That's an awesome line."
Oh, it's all my fault.
Yeah, how do you feel about yourself now?
Oh, great. The fact that I've crushed so many fanboys, it's just warms the cockles.
But yeah, no, the trailer, they're where the first season was all like 5-minute episodes. They're doing 5-minute YouTube's episodes. They're doing that again, but now this time they're focusing all on like the first tournament where the original movie took place.
What I really found amazing about these was a lot of the big name actors that they had cast for these 5-minute spots, like
Jerry Ryan
as Sonya Blade. Hilo, what's
as Stryker.
Yeah, as
I don't know how to pronounce his
J. Michael. Oh man, I horrible with names, but yeah, as Jackson.
We know who we're talking about, and if you don't know who we're talking
IMDb.
about, fucking look it up. I don't have a computer in front of me.
This mess of names has been brought to you by IMDb.com.
But that was, like, there were a lot of people who, very familiar faces for a really high-quality YouTube video.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about the time that we live in right now. It's, if you get enough people together that really love something, they can create something amazing for it.
Yeah, even if there's no plans to do it. If you do a good enough trailer, you can get some people paying attention to you.
Well, that's how all this started.
Or a Kickstarter.
He wanted to go and he wanted to do another Mortal Kombat film, a good one. After the second one, the third Mortal Kombat film had been stuck in development hell since. They tried to resurrect it 4 or 5 times.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah,
Camo
but he
Pennicott?
wanted to try and make a new Mortal Kombat film, so he got some friends together, made this big trailer. People really loved it, really were pleased with it. And then they instead of even moving, they gave him enough money to do this series. Some tweaks to make it, not as a far departure from Mortal Kombat as the trailer was. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got the first season. And then that is just it exploded. They millions upon millions of hits. They sold the DVDs of them all, and
Is there a movie coming?
no,
Or is there no
I've
plans?
heard rumors of a movie that has nothing to do with this series coming.
Ah.
Oh, hey, this movie made Mortal Kombat good again. Let's
Right.
milk it. But I've heard nothing about that in years.
You know
so.
what though? I'm not a fan, but if I was a fan, I would almost hate for there to be a movie, because it's exactly what the Kickstarters for like Veronica Mars and that Scrubs guy, the guy from Scrubs. He did that.
The one that's the guy that's doing one right now.
He's doing one right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember his goddamn name. Like that's one of the reasons why they're crowdsourcing this shit, because if you make a big movie, you're under
Zach
somebody's
Braff.
thumb.
To me, it
Zach
felt a lot
Braff,
like
thank
the Buffy fiasco that happened about a couple years ago, where the company was like, "Well, we still own the movie rights to Buffy from Buffy the movie, so we're going to make a whole new Buffy movie,
All right.
and with nothing to do with Joss Whedon, nothing to do with Sarah Michelle, nothing to do with anyone, because we technically still own the rights to the Buffy
But
movie."
didn't everybody pretty much just say?
And
"We're
yeah,
never gonna see
everyone
that."
just said, "You're
Yeah,
crazy.
make
We're
the
not
movie.
going."
Go for it.
Right.
So there's one example of fans, not being, idiots and going to.
We've got one.
How do you guys feel about the whole famous rich guy using a Kickstarter to make a film? Like
You
Zach
mean
Braff,
Zach Braff?
he's got money.
He's got money, yeah, but
and Kickstarter, he's not going to raise like he'll raise a decent amount.
He wants
but-
$2 million,
right.
and you know what? If it's almost a way of checking to see if there is interest,
Right.
and he's not like with all the Kickstarters, you're not giving something away for nothing.
Right.
He's giving people an opportunity to be involved, and people want to be involved in those
Right.
things. He's not like coming to your house, pushing you in the doorway and saying,
Right.
"Give me fucking $20 right now so I
Yeah.
can make my movie, you fucking asshole." And
That'd be pretty cool.
That's kick door starter.
Yeah.
and they're spitting on the floor or kicking your dog.
You're
and
Zach
leaving.
Braff. Cool. Why are you at my
This is
house?
a great story.
I don't even want to see your fucking movie, but here's $20. Can you come back later?
Now, the only problem is there's been reports on a lot of Kickstarters who got their money, and have not been following through.
Oh yeah, like that recent
Still
that
waiting for my
Amanda
Reaper
Palmer?
Bones and my
What's that?
my Ouya video.
Amanda Palmer's like this artist that raised a shitload of money off of Indiegogo or Kickstarter, one of them, and then has been using the money not wisely, to say the least, and people are getting really pissed about it. Like apparently she's been asked, like she hasn't been paying band members and stuff, and that's kind of why people were paying for her to do it. So you got to be careful with those things. But at the same time, if you're dumb enough to throw money to someone that's an ass, then they might fuck it up.
I don't know. We're looking. GVN is looking at starting a Kickstarter fund.
Do it.
But you would follow through. You would follow through and show examples with what you were, if you're asking to do, say, the GVN pilot, whatever, right?
Well, actually, we're doing a Kickstarter. We're looking at doing a Kickstarter to get all of our own gear, so that
That's awesome.
we can tour the show. Right?
Yeah, fucking
And we
A.
don't
Do
have
it.
to- yeah.
I mean, if people like Geeks versus Nerds,
Which
And
we
they
assume
want-
you are because you're listening right
yeah,
now.
if you're this far into the podcast and you don't like us, wow, I look forward to your hate mail. I really genuinely
Yeah,
do.
your dedication / laziness is what's keeping this going.
No, but in all seriousness, like, why wouldn't you reach out for support from those who, like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
the
mean,
people
that's my
that are donating are people that are like, I want to see this, so here's money. Like you said, they're willing people that
Yeah.
want to
The prime example,
donate,
the best example, of course, is Tim Schafer and his game. He point and click
Yeah.
adventure games, things that producers don't want to build anymore because it's not
Profitable.
it's not profitable. They
Well,
don't
it's
believe
not-
there's the
it's
fan
not-
base.
It's not profitable in the sense that Call of Duty is profitable.
Yeah. We
or
sell
Madden,
10 million. and-
Madden 2010, 2011, 2012.
I love how, like, a month after Madden comes out, it's like trade-in value is like 35 cents.
Oh yeah, I worked at EB. They have everything very, very like strategically planned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking bastards.
This isn't part of the pre-approved topic list. I don't want to get kicked out here.
No, go ahead.
But I posted it on my Facebook about a week ago. Has anybody heard of Nick Reboot?
No.
No. Okay. I don't know about anybody else. I was a huge fan of Nickelodeon TV shows in the 90s and early 2000s.
So
like
Rugrats,
Doug, Hey Arnold. Oh
Yeah.
my God, Hey Arnold.
A big fan of Doug, actually.
Yeah, so like all of those really cool shows, plus a bunch that if you didn't have access to the Nickelodeon channel, you probably never saw. So like
Are Real Monsters.
no, that one was on YTV.
Wasn't Rocco's Modern Life?
Rocko's
Man,
Modern
I did not see Rocco's until probably 2 years ago.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah.
God, blew me away.
But like I used to go down to Maine with my family a couple times a year or so, and they always had satellite, and I would watch Nickelodeon while I was down there. And so I think of a lot of Nickelodeon shows as a big part of my childhood, like Ren and Stimpy, for example. But this website, nickreboot.com, it's 24 hours a day streaming old Nickelodeon TV shows.
Oh my god!
So it's streaming. You can pause it, but when you press play again, it comes back.
Oh my
wherever
god!
It is in the
I have this image in my head of like Max Headroom and the TV that never turns off.
It's really kind of cool, and I mean, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark is on there, and some of the more popular shows.
This is your childhood.
Oh yeah, like totally.
That's why it's.
A lot of my friends as well. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners.
Rocket Power, Hey Arnold.
Yeah, it's
Angry
all sorts
Beavers.
of Angry Beavers.
Oh man, I love
Beavers.
Angry Beavers.
Right?
Yeah.
And the name alone, Angry Beavers. Oh my god, that if there is, I want you to use your iPad to check if there's a porn parody of that, because if there's not, GVN Productions is making it.
Angry Beavers?
Yeah, Angry
It sounds like you would not have a dick when you were done.
This beaver has teeth.
But it's weird that I love how we're in this almost like this nostalgia fueled economy at the moment.
Well, that's why, I mean, so many geek things are kind of doing really well right now. Like comic books referencing things from the 90s, and a lot of 90s comic books are really popular right now because all those people who grew up with them or who grew up seeing them in the supermarket or in the comic book stores, now they have that disposable income.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, I can buy this.
I've been asked by like different reporters and interviewers like why I think GVN is succeeding. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm saying like all of the people who grew up with that first generation of Star Wars, they're all in their 40s to 50s. Like when Star Wars hit, all of them are like in between 40 and 50, and that is the huge economic powerhouse of our culture, is the 40 to 50 year old. 30 to 50 year olds, yeah. That's where it is. And then right behind them is all of their kids who they've raised to be geeks. Because,
inadvertently.
Yeah, no, like it's not like, but they grew up with Star Wars, and their dad loved Star Wars, and their kids are gonna love Star Wars because my God, my son's gonna love Star Wars, or he's not going to soccer, and I'm not feeding him pizza for dinner for a month. You know, I've actually known people who's like, you're my son, and you're gonna love Star Wars. So
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt for a minute because I have a feeling like that
because I stopped browsing.
But tell me, did you just type in Angry Beavers porn? Because I'm sure you found some
porn parody, and I found a fanfic. I found a fanfic. It's a completely written story.
Rule 34.
Rule 34.
About I want to hear this fanfic story. And I'm sure all the listeners at home do too.
The link
it's pretty long.
Blah, 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 blah.
Give us
It's got pictures. It's got a screen cap from Scanners, man.
Yeah, because this guy's doing a commentary of a fanfic he found. So the yellow is the actual stuff.
So hold on. This is not even the fan fiction. This is commentary.
This is commentary
on
of
the
fan
fiction commentary. Oh my God, this is masturbation on masturbation.
Okay, so the Angry Beavers'
mom. Have you ever tried to clean that up though?
No.
Shut down. The Angry Beavers' mom shows up at their birthday and then says, you each get a tit, and pulls her tits out and puts them in each of one of the Angry Beavers' mouths.
I just want to make it clear that
There-
I'm currently regretting all the life decisions
There
that
are-
have brought me to this moment.
There's an hour of reading here. I'm trying to skip to some of the exciting parts.
Make sure that we post the link on the the podcast.
Before Norbert knew it, he was sucking on his mother's nipple at a steady pace. To his left, Brother Daggett was doing the same. Mrs. Beaver placed her hands.
We have to stop now.
I'm just picturing Norbert being
don't.
like, the schnoobly burbly, because he used to always say ridiculous words. It's horrible.
Oh wow! One falls asleep and then wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'll just send the link out. I could read the whole thing, but that's a different
okay.
kind
That's
of podcast.
a different podcast
Yeah.
altogether.
That's background noise
Nick
tomorrow night.
Reboot.com 24/7 streaming of not that of
That's a different website.
yeah.
That was-
Anyway, I found that 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, and I just it kind of reignited my love for Hey Arnold, especially. And by the way, that would make a great 2-minute debate. Who's the better football head? Hey Arnold
Or Stewie?
That is a good debate.
Yeah,
That's a
2-minute
good
debate
2-minute
right there.
debate. I like it.
Yeah, so
We'll have
Better
to mention
football
that.
head. I like it.
Okay, finally wrapping up really quickly. RIPD released its trailer. RIPD was a comic series from the late 90s by Dark Horse, I believe. I think I saw a single copy once. I don't know. I like Jeff Bridges.
It looks
looks like Men in Black for undead creatures.
It looks fun. Are we still working under the impression that Ryan Reynolds is an action star?
I think he's working under that impression, and
He's too pretty boy.
But you gotta remember, when it comes to films, it's like a ripple effect. You do one, people are like, okay, I can kind of see him as an action star, and then you start booking your next 4 projects before film A is done, and then it's to the ripple. People see and go, oh, he's not, and then you just see the small ripple effect.
But when was the first one? The first one that I can think of is Blade 3. That was
yeah,
6 years
and that
ago.
was the worst casting for Hannibal King I could think of.
I like him when he's being a smartass.
Yep.
You know,
oh, sure.
When he's being a smartass.
To be honest, that's where I first saw Ryan Reynolds. 2 guys, a girl, in a pizza place. He was the smartass.
Have you ever seen The Odyssey? Old show on YTV?
Yes.
Kid falls into a coma.
Yes.
That's where you
Man, I
first
grew
saw
up
Ryan
on that
Reynolds.
show. Holy
oh my
crap.
god!
Yeah.
That was Ryan Reynolds?
That was the noise of
Oh my God.
2 heads just exploding.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that show. Mind you,
Is that my skull?
Yes.
I always caught that
Sorry.
show like halfway between the season and be like, I have no clue
No, yeah.
what's going on.
Now that's a
But
show I
it's
would watch
trippy.
that anytime that shows up on TV. It's not on TV anymore that I know of. Anytime that shows up and I flip by it, I have to watch it because it's
what?
so
It was
amazing and weird.
But it was interesting, but I could unless you watched it from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
You could not trace that to
Worst part was I didn't get YTV where I grew up. We were antenna.
That's grounds for taking your parents to court.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but we had like 4 channels, and 2 of which were CBC. But no, so I only got to see YTV when I went into the city, away from the boonies, and so that was like once a month. And then you've seen one out of every 4 episodes of The Odyssey. You're like,
well,
weren't you traveling with someone? What the
yeah.
hell happened?
The thing is, even if you watched them in order from the beginning, I don't think it would have made much more sense.
It really started to get weird when he came out of the coma. Or spoiler alert, for a 25-year-old TV show.
Gandalf dies.
What?
Even longer spoiler. Man, there were people who were pissed when they found out Gandalf died in the first film.
When Jeff Bridges is in stuff, he just instantly gives it more credibility.
Oh, it does.
His face is just so full of character. I'm just like, I wasn't going to watch this before, but like, what was the one most recently where he was a cowboy or whatever?
True Grit. And he's playing pretty much the same character.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I was like, cowboy movies are cool, but I was like, True Grit was fucking sweet.
Have
I
you
really
seen the
enjoyed
original?
that. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I liked the original.
The original was good.
But he's
too,
one of those actors, it's like, we need a kind of famous name that doesn't cost too much,
right.
but that can bring a whole lot of credibility. And he's one of those abilities. He gets paid nowhere near as much as a lot of the bigger names.
Did you see?
He probably has one of the smaller, the 2 main stars, 3-4 main stars. He probably has one of the smaller.
Did you see that Robert
wages.
Downey Jr. Got paid $50 million for the Avengers?
50
million.
I thought that was for Iron Man 3 he was getting. Or
for Avengers, he ended up getting. He probably had a deal where he got some on the back end.
Okay, why do you need?
$50 million? I can
after
think
you
of
got...
some amazing things to do with $50
Start in my
million.
own country. It's top of the list with $50 million.
For $50 million, my God, man.
I don't think I could spend $50 million.
No, and that's the best part.
But why fucking
I just bought a jet.
It's not like he doesn't already have like $250 million already.
It's
right?
so it's you know what for most people I would agree. It's just I can't fault Robert Downey Jr.
He's Tony Stark, man.
Yeah,
It
it makes sense.
He's a billionaire.
Art imitates life, imitates art, imitates life.
$50 million
it's a cycle.
could be him paying off all those drug debts from the 90s. Everyone forgets Robert Downey Jr. Big addict.
Oh, nobody
He
forgets.
went to
Nobody
jail.
forgets.
Everybody loves a redemption story. That's the thing. And then we're going to tear him back down in a couple of years. It's going to be amazing.
as soon as we're done with Iron
won't
Man.
matter, man.
Actually-
He's already made the pinnacle movie of his career, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and anything after that is...
Tropic Thunder, hello.
That was good.
What do you mean, you people?
What do
What
you
a
mean?
land, farmer motherfucker! No, but I remember when he got casted as Tony Stark. Me and my friends were all like, "Okay, it makes sense. It takes an addict to play an addict."
Yeah.
It's,
No, an alcoholic womanizer, yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
Typecasting.
Yeah. But in all honesty, like, I can't fault the guy for making $50 million because I don't know why. I like him.
If paying a good actor $50 million to make movies that were as good as the Avengers, I'm up for it. If I can get more movies that were as good and as fun as going to see the Avengers was, if that cost $50 million, I'm for it.
Yeah, I
enjoy
have
the
a feeling
Avengers.
they knew what they were doing when they paid him that much. Avengers was really fucking good.
I think there was a deal for the back end because you don't straight up just offer somebody $50 million because he already had a contract to appear
Right.
as Tony Stark in more movies. So he probably had a deal for the back end of that film.
Yeah, because
But
he
then
was
again-
originally in the first Hulk movie. He played,
Yeah.
the Incredible Hulk 2008.
Yeah, he had a cameo in
appeared,
that.
After, well, actually, not even after the credits.
And he does the voice for the video game and stuff. So he's. I'm sure. Yeah, there's more to it than that.
He likes
but he definitely
being
makes a good
Tony
amount of money.
Stark. He has to.
Who wouldn't?
No,
Although he
seriously.
said
man, I wanna be Tony
he doesn't
Stark.
see himself doing it past Iron Man 4 or Avengers 2. I mean, you
So,
gotta remember, do we really want... I mean, he's turning, 50 this year?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, he'll stay young looking like.
Yeah. $50 million buys immortality.
Right.
Then again, $50 million, as I said, considering he did the majority of the hard acting in that movie, say we will about Chris Evans. And
See, it's not acting anymore because he is that rich.
Yeah.
He already had the alcoholic womanizer.
Okay, so
now
I get
he's
it.
rich.
This is method acting to the extreme. I've got to be a rich guy. I got to be a rich guy.
Very nice. So that is well beyond our hour, so I'm going to call it here. Thanks for everybody for being here, and we'll see you again, Larry, when you can come
Whether or
on.
not you're aware of it, yeah, you will.
Yeah.
You will see me again.
And Derek, thanks for being for the inaugural episode of Table of Geequals.
Oh yeah.
We need a good sign-off.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, hey,
Good-
let's have a
good-
contest. Let's have a contest.
we need a sign-off.
Let's
yeah.
get a sign-off.
Okay, so we need a sign-off for our show for Table of Geequals. So help us out.
Yeah, well, I guess the easiest thing to do is email me at editor@geeksversusnerds.com and we'll get it in for you.
I'm PigMonkey. That's Alex Hall. Have a great night.